Anita, how's your mental health?
Questionable at all times. You know this.
Yeah, how's the mental health of your children?
Also a little bit tricky. Can I tell you my experience in trying to find therapists for myself and my kids, Mel?
Yes, please.
Okay, this is how it goes. You ask around your friends and your family for a referral for somebody who's nearby. You finally find somebody who sounds like they might work for your family. You give them a call and you find out that A, they're not accepting new patients, or B, they have a huge wait list. So you start over again and you ask people if they know anybody who would be a good therapist and a good fit. Finally, you find one, you go and you meet with them, and you figure out that you don't actually like them that much. But it's been so much work to find somebody who you can go to in your area that you're kind of stuck with them. Well, do you have any ideas for how to get around this?
I do because guess what? I've actually had some therapists that I have found on my own, which involves what you're saying. Sometimes I remember one time I was like 3 hours in the bathtub on my phone looking
Yeah.
through websites. I was such a prune at the end. But I have also had the experience with working with BetterHelp. And it was like, I don't want to say too good to be true, but because it is true, but it's like amazing because I was matched with my therapist within 24 hours.
And you didn't have to go through all of that other ridiculous process of trying to find somebody. And here's the cool thing too, is if that person didn't work out for you, you can just switch and say, and it's not like you're committing to another years long search for somebody who you're going to jive with.
It's true. And I lucked out, or maybe just BetterHelp is really good at matching people together because I never had to change my therapist. I loved her. Perfect fit for me. And I know that some of our friends have used BetterHelp and they've had to change therapists, and boom, same day, you can change.
Easy peasy.
You can ghost your therapist. Get a new one.
I love this idea. BetterHelp is one of our sponsors. If you use our promo code trybetterhelp.com/WWDN, you get 10% off your first month. And we totally recommend it.
Yes, get some therapy. That's trybetterhelp.com/WWDN. Well, hello there, Miss Anita.
Well, hello there, Mrs. Melanie Roseanne Shore.
I should have called you Captain Anita.
No, you're the captain. I'm the doctor, remember?
Oh, that's right. Hey, Dr. Anita, how are you today?
I'm fine. I don't know which way is up and which way is down, but I think I'm seated right now. So that's okay. I can deal with that. How are you?
I'm the same, but this is our summer check-in with everybody and with each other because we have no concept of time ever. But obviously, things are a little chaotic. So
Yeah, we've been missing for a few weeks. You haven't heard our lovely and or not lovely voices for a few weeks because why, Mel?
we have gone and come. Wait, we have traveled to and fro
To and fro, yes.
from the land down under.
Yeah. We went to New Zealand for a few days and I loved New Zealand. I thought it was so amazing and I want to go back. I want to go back all the places I ever go. There's just too many places to travel to though. Got to spend time with widow friend Lauren in New Zealand, so that was really
My
cool.
twin.
Yes, that was actually pretty spooky. The more we learned, the more we knew that you guys were twins.
And our hair is the same color. So there's
Yeah.
that.
And there were other things too. So
Yeah,
that
that
was
was
fun.
super fun. And then we were in Australia. And the whole reason why we were there is because we were speaking at First Light Widowed Association's Camp Widow.
Yeah.
So it was so fun to get to see our Australian friends that we already know and have met in person before, and then to make some new ones.
One of the highlights for me, Mel, was that I got a very in-depth lesson on sheep shearing, specifically specifically a sheep's back end. It was
Isn't it like the front bum?
well, I could go into the details that I got, but I'm not sure everybody really needs those.
Okay,
I
well,
was
everybody,
like,
you
I
guys
did not
also,
pay for this.
you all need to realize that when Anita and I text each other, only we can really decode it, and nobody can tell if it's sarcastic or if it's true or false or if it's just made up. And so Anita just sent me another funny thing. I didn't know if it was true or not. I thought you were making it up, but
No, for reals, it happened.
the text said, Mel, I just got an in-depth lesson on shearing a sheep's, can I say that word here?
I mean, it's an anatomical term. So yeah.
Vulva.
Yeah.
One of the best texts I've ever received from you in my life. So, was that from a fellow widow
Yeah.
friend?
Yeah. And it wasn't on my bingo card of my
Well,
life ever. You
it
know?
is now.
Yeah. It can be the wild card spot. It should take up 3.5 spots. So yeah, I didn't anticipate that. I got invited to a sheep shearing class, but unfortunately it lasted 2 weeks. And I said, I am gonna have to go home before I can learn that skill. But that was from Josh, our friend Josh in Australia.
Hey,
So
Josh.
very fun, very fun.
One of my
Um,
favorite people from Camp Widow that we met is we asked what some of the people have been doing that they
oh
didn't
golly,
think that they would have done because of widowhood. And my spirit animal happened to be sitting in the back corner and she raised her hand and said, I've been playing in a Celtic band.
hmm
And she's as tall as you, Anita, which
I think she
also,
was taller than me and
yeah,
very gangly. Yeah.
yeah, she was super awesome. Hi, Sal. You probably don't listen, which is fine because you're practicing instruments.
And also cleaning up the beaches and the waters. We did Camp Widow, our game show, which involves a very specific outfit that I wear, and she wanted to know where I got it so she could use it while she was snorkeling and scuba diving. So that was also very fun. It's a very sparkly rainbow
Pantsuit.
suit. Yeah. Yeah. And she's like, that would be perfect for scuba diving. And I was like, that also did not ever cross my mind."
Well, I think that you should try it next time you scuba dive, which we did, and you're good at it because you actually do it. I, on the other hand, made it
First.
almost to when the boat stopped, and then I threw up 2.5 bags of throw up. So that was
Yeah.
fun.
When we got onto this boat, we were going out to the Great Barrier Reef. It's been on my bucket list. I was so excited to get to do it. And the crew said, if you get seasick, you need to take seasickness medication. The waters are rough today. They said, if you don't know if you get seasick, take some medicine because you may or may not get sick. And they said, and if you know it's not going to be a problem, then hooray for you. And then this was the genius of their plan. They tell you this, and then they sold us seasickness medication.
Did you pay?
Yeah, I had to buy it.
Oh, did you buy mine?
Yes, I bought it.
Oh,
I
I thought
bought
it was for free.
seasickness medicine for everybody. It did fine for me because I had a prior experience where I learned a lot of lessons on the fun runner, but Mel almost made it. There were a lot of people throwing up. It was kind of apocalyptic,
Here's
but
what I have to say. I was almost
you were
to where
almost
we
there.
were going to be fine. But then they made us have an hour-long lesson at
hmm
the front of the boat where you had to read cards and there was a teacher saying, read this information and
Yeah.
pointing. And so all of my coping mechanisms were foiled. And then I threw up my life. Anyway, we saw some beautiful fish. I did snorkel for about 5 seconds instead of scuba dive because that did not work out. But Anita, you got to swim with a turtle and all sorts of beautiful things.
Yes, it was so amazing. I'm so thankful that happened. And I got to ride my bike in Australia and in New Zealand. And Mel got to ride her skateboard. And we just saw lots of cool things. And it was a grand adventure. So glad.
You know what it reminded me of is because let's see, what are we? What am I? 6.5 years out from Scott's death. And so in that time, there have been a lot of things that I've been doing that I didn't think I'd ever do just because you're trying to survive and maybe you're looking for some new activities to do. And I kind of forgot that I went biking with you because I was struggling so much
We
several
talked
years
about
ago.
it.
And now I have these bikes. And yeah, we were talking about it. I'm like, I need to actually do that again because it was so helpful. So
Too hot right now,
I
though.
know.
Ugh. It got to be summer like immediately. It was weird.
We want to know what some of you guys have done where you never thought you would have done it.
What was not on your bingo card?
Yes. Yes.
Your life.
Actually, and then skateboarding was another one too, because that was like it started out with roller skating, which I still roller skate, but I skateboard more. And then Skateboarding, it's been cool because every city that we were in, I could find a skate park, except for the one where we were scuba diving and then I was
Oh,
vomiting because it was raining too. But I
yeah, it
got to
was
go
kind of, you're
to
busy.
the Sydney Olympic Park where they have gigantic ramps and a teacher.
Oh, that's fun.
So there you go.
Um, okay, but wait, we have to go back to when we were at the Great Barrier Reef for just a second
Okay.
because I was so excited because we booked this place that was really close to the beach and I was like, this is going to be so great. I love the beach. I'm just going to go and like jump in the water and go swimming whenever I want to. And everybody we talked to, they were like, don't get in the water. And I was like, excuse me, what? Crocodiles, guys. Crocodiles. Saltwater crocodiles. Um, I didn't plan for that. So then it was funny because I'd look at brochures for different tours and stuff, and they'd say, we're going to stop in a watering hole for a swim. And I was like, I'm so confused. They say, oh, those are freshwater swimming holes. So those are fine. And I'm like, excuse me, how does one know if it's a saltwater swimming hole or a freshwater swimming hole unless one reaches down and like licks the water? And if you do that, then the crocodile is close enough to eat you. So the whole thing was just, I was like, I'm not made for Australia, I don't think. At least the northern part where the crocodiles live.
I think that you need to swim in Hawaii
Uh-huh.
and I'll just go live in Sydney. But also,
I
Sydney, we need you all to have a more lively live music scene. Can I come and help start that? Because I was
you
trying to
totally
find
should.
places to go listen, and there were not very many.
Hmm.
And the people that we asked were like, hey, where's some live music? Like, do you have jazz? Do you have this other stuff? And they're like, well, there's a lot of dance clubs. And my cousin did jazz and he moved to New York to do it. Like, okay, well,
Not
there,
helpful.
I need more. Then I'll come
Yeah.
live. Who wants to learn jazz piano? I'm available.
Very cool. Got to see Simone in Sydney too, one of our other friends. It was just a great trip where we got to see lots of widowed friends. Simone, Lauren, all of our Camp Widow friends, Marianne, Aaron. We went to the zoo with Liz and Aaron. So it was all very fun.
We offended some older ladies at the zoo because Liz is the best. Just saying.
Oh my
People,
goodness. And then Mel, I was
yes.
away from my children for 2 weeks, which is a really, really long time. And I had to sell my soul to get them taken care of. It was worth it. But then I went to get on my flight home and they said, your flight is canceled. And I was like, you have to be kidding me. So I had a fun morning trying to get on another flight. And I did make it home and it turned out to be fine. But I was like, oh my gosh, my poor kids and the poor person who's staying with them is like, no, you need to come home like today because it's been a long time.
How
And
was re-entering your life?
oh, it was so funny. I was laughing so hard because my two middle boys, they just started fighting with each other immediately. And one of them paused mid fight and goes, don't worry, Mom. We didn't fight like this when Jenny was here. We waited till you got home. And I was like,
Oh,
Thank you. That's the kind of care and thoughtfulness that I appreciate about you guys. And it's been nonstop. They've just been fighting since school got out, which happened while I was away. School let out for the summer. And so now we're in full summer swing here and no school and trying to keep everybody entertained and not attacking each other. It's great fun.
and it's very hot.
It's hot.
We came
Yeah.
from autumn time in Australia, New Zealand, where it got dark at 4:30, back
Mhm.
to it's never
Summer.
dark.
Yeah.
Basically the North Pole right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
I'm still kind of trying to get my bearings. When we landed, and I got home to my bed, 27 hours in my
You
bed.
slept for 27 hours?
I sure did.
Holy cow.
I was unwell.
Wow.
Yep.
That's actually did you have to get up to pee? That's like actually, how did you do that?
Okay, yeah, I did have some pee breaks.
Okay,
So,
good. Okay.
no, not totally out.
Yeah. You would have needed like an adult diaper for that
Or maybe I
situation.
just was really dehydrated.
Yeah. No, I think 20, well, maybe that'd be a long time. So now, Mel, we have to get back into like whatever life is. And what is life?
It's always changing for me. I'm always confused. And whenever we sit down and record and talk about what's going on, I can't remember because it seems like every day is different, but then every day's the same at the same time.
Yeah, that's actually a really good description of it. It's like it's the same and it's different, and I don't know. Yeah.
Oh, you don't know this yet because I haven't told you, but when this
Breaking news.
breaking news, when this episode comes out, I found out that my lovely Weimaraner dog,
Oh
Finn,
no.
who's 5 turning 6, he's had juvenile cataracts since he was a baby, like 1 or so. He's very, very healthy otherwise. And so I thought, I'll take him in to the vet ophthalmologist to see what's happening because I'm noticing some changes. So I go
Like, is
in.
he running into doors and stuff?
Yeah, he's having a hard time going downstairs. You can tell he's really cautious and, light's been refracting off of the cataracts and this and that. So I go into the vet and they're like, yes, you're right. Obviously, he has cataracts. One of them is a full cataract, it's mature. The other one is basically kind of unchanged from where it was before. Do you want us to look further inside the eye because there could be some more problems? And I'm like, yes, of course, because the dogs are the only thing I have. They are my life. So it's like, okay, I know it's going to be expensive, but they are my people.
Right.
So they do the next test. His retina is almost detached.
Ow.
I don't know, but then I didn't realize there were like ophthalmologic emergencies. So he's not going to die. But they're like, you have to get in. They're like, here's the good news. He has, it's not fully flat. So there's a chance. The bad news is, and the good news is it can be fixed. The bad news is
$15,000.
Oh, it wasn't even that. It was, it's really expensive. And there are 10 people in the world that do the surgery.
Oh.
You have to travel there and you have to do it within 1 week.
Oh, gosh.
And the closest place is Pasadena.
Sri Lanka.
So guess where I'm going? My friend's driving my dog for me because I have to do some gigs that like only I can do because they're my shows on Thursday night. And my friend, thanks, Carrie, you're the best in the whole world. This is my friend that basically lived with me in my bed after Scott died to make sure that I did not do self-harm. She's driving my dog for me down to Pasadena. And Friday, I'm flying down, trading her places and sending her back home. And then Finn will have a surgery where his retinas are getting attached and new eyes. And
new eyes.
Yeah. We're not going to talk about the cost here because I can't form sentences around it. And it's really, I just can't do it.
This is a Birdie the cat situation where you will spend whatever it takes to
the thing that's hard.
Your guy.
The thing that's hard is the dog is so healthy. So I know the outcome if he doesn't have surgery, blind, which means, okay, he'll probably live to be like 13 to 15 years old if he's a standard, lifespan for a Weim, which he's very healthy. I assume he would unless something weird happened. And that means I would be living with a blind dog where I would have to make sure he didn't go downstairs. I don't know who could watch him if I went out of town because that's then a dog with special needs. I don't really want like 10 years of that. So I'm going to try and get it fixed. And I'll just take a lot more gigs. So there we go. And those of us who I know some people are like, I would never spend money on my animals. And I'm like, that's totally not actually, it's not cool. But if that's if you do not only have pets as your family.
Yeah. Well, everybody has like a different length that they would go to for, both in humans and in animals, but it's different for animals usually.
And it's like, okay, so it's not ideal to have a blind dog for the next 10 years. But he's fine. You don't just like put a dog down because they have a cataract that's progressing and their retina's detaching. So that's the situation I'm in. So I'll be back very quickly, but that has happened since I've seen you last.
I'm super curious to know how they're going to do it. We'll talk about it after because I know what they do in humans and I don't know how they would do that in
It's
dogs.
called vitreoretinal surgery. It's probably the same. They like poke stuff in the eyes and take jelly out and suck stuff in. And then I don't know how they do the retina detached part.
I had a friend with a detached retina, and they put air in her eye, or they put something that was a different viscosity than what's the jelly that's in your eye. And then she had to keep her head down so that the bubble pushed her retina up against the back of her eye for like
Oh.
3 weeks.
Wha- So did
Yeah.
she like lay on her stomach like in a sling?
She just had to have her head. I'm pointing my
Yeah,
head
she's
down
not
at the
speaking
floor.
into her mic because she's
Yeah.
speaking at
For
her
like
belly
ever.
button.
Yes. So that
Okay,
was
yeah,
weird.
I'm curious on how it's gonna go because how? How do you deal with the dog?
We will need a report.
You know,
I
I should
and
have had the doctor talk to you because the specialist called me
Oh,
and
well,
told me
yeah, he
everything.
should for how much
Well,
you're going to pay him.
first of all, it's a she,
Oh, yay.
and she's, I guess, like the best in the world at it. She's on all the published papers
That's
for
cool.
clinical stuff. So I should be like, hey, my name's Melnita. Talk to me.
I'm telling you what, though, we've had lots of friends who maybe not in like the last little while, but I know of a few who have lost their pets in the last little while. And it's such a stab to the heart. Like it's so hard to lose those people, those pet people, too, after you've lost your person. And so I almost think you try to hold on to them even more than you might in quote unquote regular circumstances. Cause it's just like, I can't take another loss like this. I can't take another blow to my family, I
Hmm.
guess.
I mean,
So,
my pug was 14 when Scott died, and then she died 6 months after he did. And it was just like reopening, hard things. And
yeah.
yeah, we've seen that some of our widowed friends, even recently within the last month, have lost
Yeah.
I mean, they're pets, but they're their
They're
people.
they're pet people. Yeah.
Yeah, and especially kidless widows, it's like there's an absence of another body, and a dog has a body or a cat has a body. So I know that my dogs, for me, it's like if I get in a bad enough emotional place and then somebody tries to tell me my dogs are a problem, it's like a scary thing because it hits this weird like tripwire in me because I want to say, do you know what they've done for me? They've saved my life. Like, even if I think about, something along the lines of self-harm, which I mean, I didn't very often, but they know. And then they bark at you and they're like, no. And then they cuddle you and then they provide a lot of support. So my dogs sleep with me in my bed. I'm just surrounded by dogs, but it calms me down. So shout out to all of those pet parents and also to those of our friends who have lost some important quote people in their lives lately. They are important. And yeah, I'm going to be pretty much taking some more gigs for a while, but that's all right. I chose to
Yeah.
have dogs and this is how it goes. And I'll see you when I get back Saturday night. I'm sad about the timing. I'm going to miss Tony Hawk's Vert Alert at the U.
Oh
A few.
man.
It's going to be free. Anybody in Salt Lake. Oh, wait. It would have been over by now. Okay,
Okay.
whatever.
Bummer.
Um,
I don't even know what day it is. Is it Monday? It's
Today's
Monday.
Monday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
So that's kind of how my summer's going. And I didn't realize that was going to happen till literally 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So what, and you're momming it.
I'm momming it. I'm momming it hard, man.
Wow.
I went out to, this is a funny story, Mel, that you may or may not appreciate. I went out with my friends for my birthday, which happened like 3 weeks ago while we were in Australia. And so we always go out to lunch with my friends for birthdays. And we were at this restaurant, and the guy, one of the workers came up to the table and was like, how's everything going? And one of my friends was like, oh, he's cute. And it was funny because never ever have I played into that. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's always just been like, whatever. And I was like, oh, I wonder if he's single-ish, like I'm single-ish anyway. And so
Ish.
we kind of, yeah. So then the friend was like, we have to get him back to see if he's wearing a ring. And so we got him back somehow, and he was not wearing a ring. But then the friend was like looking through Instagram, trying to find if he was married or not. Yep, married. He was very good looking.
Oh, well, speaking of marriage, congrats, Melissa Ponder
Yeah,
Brackman. Insert current new name if you're changing your name here. And
Joseph.
Joe,
Yeah,
they just got married.
yeah,
You guys know
very cool.
Melissa from her
Episodes like some
insane
and some.
story.
Yeah,
Yeah, her husband was killed by a serial killer, and then her next husband was a cop and got killed. So, shout out to you guys. please nobody in your families die for at least like 30 years.
Or dogs have problems with their retinas either.
Yeah, that would be really great.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah, Anita, that's kind of funny. Like, I'm just going to ask you because we're sitting
Mhm.
here, single-ish,
Yeah.
widowed mom, kids. If somebody asked you out and you
Mhm.
vetted them and you're like, hey, they're not married
Right.
already to an alive person, they kind of like to do things I like to do. Would you go on a date with them?
Sometimes we assume that unless we had a huge life insurance payout, we don't really need to know anything about investments or even finances. But guess what? A little knowledge of finances is critical for all of us. Maybe your partner was in charge of that stuff, and now you find yourself making all the decisions. Maybe you're mad about that. Maybe I am. Nicole from the He's Gone But the Money's Not podcast is here to help. She tackles financial literacy by telling the stories of women and widows and finance experts and shares the lessons they've learned as certified financial planners. Whether you know a lot and feel confident in your financial decisions or feel unsure about all of that stuff, there is more to learn. Listen and subscribe to the He's Gone But the Money's Not podcast on all podcast platforms. This ad was paid for by Rockhouse Financial, an SEC registered investment advisor. Yes, if they weren't old and gross, then I would probably go on a date with them.
What if they're old and not gross? What does old mean?
Yeah, that's a good question. I
I'm
don't
old.
know. I feel like it's, like that old saying that you don't know you know what it is when you see it. I don't know. If I like looked like I could possibly be physically attracted to them, then maybe. And if they weren't like didn't remind me of my dad or my grandpa or something. I don't know. I don't know.
Why are we assuming that they're old? What if they're your same age?
No, that's the old and gross part. So
Oh,
they could
oh.
also just be gross and my same age, and I wouldn't like to go out with them either
What if
if
they're
they were
just
gross.
a person that's just normal-ish?
Then probably I possibly would. Yeah.
Okay, but how would you deal with telling your kids? Would you tell your kids? Would you not? Would you
Yes, I
just,
would. I would tell my kids after doing this podcast and really just talking to them about a lot of things. I have come to the conclusion for me, and I don't say that this is right for everybody, but that communication beforehand is probably the way to go for us. So, and I've told them that like I will let them know if I'm considering dating or anything like that and be pretty open about that with them. And they appreciate that. They're like, okay, now the question is what would happen if I did go on a date and then I was like, oh, I actually like this person? Like that's a whole other bridge to cross because
I
what if
won't
they
ask you
don't?
that yet. I'll ask you
Yeah.
that if it actually happens.
Yeah. And if it's not an old and gross person, old and or gross, I don't
Yeah,
know.
or any combination.
Yeah. Yeah.
What if they're just young,
Hmm.
not gross, but they're young?
Like you mean like young, young?
Okay, you're how old are you now?
I'm
44?
44. Yeah.
What if they are 31?
I 31 would be, I don't know. It would depend on their like level of maturity, I would say. Because you know how some people can be like their chronological age doesn't match their mental or
You mean
physical age.
like me?
Yeah, kind of.
Whenever people ask me my age, I'm like, I have three ages, 10, my current age, and 99.
Yeah.
I
My
feel 99.
emotional, my psychological. Yeah.
Yeah. And my
Yeah.
fun factor. My fun factor is always at 10 years old. That's why you're
Yeah.
number two and I get along, even though I know he's not 10 anymore. But
I'm waiting to get a headstone and other things. So the next time we check in, hopefully Finn's eye is all better. And maybe there will be different, maybe I will have gone on a date with a non-gross and or old or too young and immature. Man, I'm really picky, Mel.
I know,
Like
Anita. Like, I mean, come on. What if they think you're old and gross?
I am.
You do have a spit cup.
Did for a short
Did.
while. Not anymore.
Okay. And you had your area in the house where you lived.
Yes.
So
Yes.
you're
I had
very
my area.
specific, I think, just in It's a
Yeah.
bummer that Jason died because I feel like he just fit everything about you
Hmm.
perfectly.
Yeah,
That
and he didn't mind my elderly and grossness and my whatever is I've got going on.
well,
I'm not that bad though. I'm
I
quite.
mean, you're
I'm
the one that
quite.
started it with the old and gross with someone else. So, I mean, so you
I
guys,
gotta
sometimes
take
I'm
it.
like, Anita, I have the best idea for a
Uh-huh.
podcast. We send you on a blind date and I just follow you and I'm there the whole time.
Notice how Mel never, is like, I'll go on a blind date. She always
No,
wants to sacrifice me.
I will sacrifice you because you're more outgoing and I'm also the editor and I will be filming. So I'm tech. And I'm there to help you.
I feel like we should have a GoFundMe. And we should have like if we get enough money to pay for a really cool date, then we could do it. But
Can
I
I
feel like
come?
I'd have to be paid to do it at this point in time,
Can I
depending on the
come? Because
person.
I'll have to
Yes, of
edit it and
course.
people want to be a part of it.
Yeah, that won't make it awkward at all, too. I'll be like, "Hello, my name is Anita, and this is my filming widow wife, Mel. Just pretend she's not there,
We need to bring my brother-in-law, Scott's brother, Brad, because he's actually a
like a videographer."
videographer and photographer
Mhm.
and content manager. So,
This is starting to sound like the Real Widows of
does anybody
Instagram, Real
have
Widows of Utah.
someone that they want to set up with Anita in a fun slash place where they will donate to a GoFundMe so that we can have two support crew for Anita and I'll film the whole thing. Who
Yeah.
wants it? Please message us or start the GoFundMe for us.
Not,
But
yeah, and you've heard my criteria
don't steal the
for who
money.
I
Give it to
want.
us. And you can
Yeah.
have some too. You can have like a manager's fee. It's cool.
You can have some too.
Well, if someone does it, we're so overwhelmed because we're just
Pretty soon the SEC is
disasters.
going to be arresting us for like Ponzi scheme fraud or
Well, I
something.
don't want anybody on my downline. So it's not quite going to be cult level, which I do. I
MLM.
would love to start a cult, except for how do you start a cult where you're like, everything is all up to you and don't listen to us? It doesn't
Right.
work.
Just give us money, but also we're not going to do any of the weird culty things like make you wear or eat weird things or, disavow your family, move to a
No, you should like
commune.
have relationships with your family. You should keep
Hmm.
all the things that are supportive to you.
Yeah. It could involve leggings, our cult,
Y-
or like smells,
I can't
tinctures.
tincture. Oh, guys, my mom knows how to make tinctures.
Yeah, I know. That's
So
why
yeah,
I was
we could.
hoping she would help us out with that.
I think actually cheese is a part of our cult.
Oh,
So that could be involved. Hey, yeah, somebody please be our GoFundMe manager and let's support Anita Goes on a Date that Mel and Brad film.
oh my goodness. Okay, well, we'll just wait for that to happen and
Okay, the first
then see
person
what
that
happens.
posts about it in the Widow Wives Club and gets people to know that they should listen to the episode and see what the heck we're talking about. You can be the first one that watches the edits of the video. The
Can you
first person.
imagine somebody listening to this and being like, well, I'd like to take Anita on a date, but I'm not sure if I meet her criteria. Am I old? Am I gross? Am I too young? Am
You
I
know,
immature?
you're just gonna have to find out on the date. And Anita, I mean, you're into men, right? So it would have
Yes.
to be a man.
Yeah, I think
So
so.
I mean, because I'm also your widow wife, so that's taken.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the
You can't
that's
have
the
two of us,
that would be weird.
especially when we're all on our periods. Which
Yeah.
in August I won't have them anymore. Just telling everyone.
I don't have them right now, so
Okay, you guys. Whoever can remember any of that blather, please post about it. Help us with a GoFundMe, and we're gonna make it happen.
all right. Well, I can't wait to talk to you the next time, Mel, so we can find out what else is going on in our lives.
All right, that sounds
Okay.
great. Have a nice
Okay.
life. Till next
Okay.
week.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye bye. Everyone watch The Jinx. Part 2 is already out. Bob.
My 14-year-old is obsessed.
Hello, everybody. It's me, Helper 3. I haven't been here for so long. Thank you for inviting me again, Mom. So, we're doing a shout out to our Patreons who has been supporting us. Thank you, guys. Barbara Schneeberger, thank you. Constance Bell, David Kelly, Emily Wiesenberg, Evelyn Flores, Krista Waite, Kristen Pollack, Rabbi Maya Glasser, one's a hard one to say, Neil Hooper, Karen Cornejo, Rebecca Zeba, Alexis King Abdello, Amy Hartman Mattel, Anakin Goodman, Ashley Hahn,
You're like Oprah.
Becky Loipers, Berkeley Thompson, Brandy Younger, Chris Steffen, Connie Rummage, Danielle Catterberg, Dawn Satterwhite, Deborah Nylak, Dennis Brozo, Diana Duhamo, Jen O'Brien, Jennifer Bills, Jennifer Brown, Karen Lindsay, Karina Jacovo, Leah Johnston, Lisa Hardman Powell, Lou Clausen, Auntie Marie Hossman, Mary Catherine Mahonston. Gosh darn it. Anderson. Meg Murto, Patricia Weist, Sunshine Haven, Alicia McAllister, Amy Burke, Ann Drennan, thank you. Anna Tracy, thank you for your support. Audrey Haneker, Brittany Cruz, Kathy Mazzeta, thank you. Christina Scampato, Christine Anderson, I feel like I know her. Cindy Reno, Dawn Barbara, Debbie Frells, Deborah Westwood, Doris Wright-Chill, Eileen Dem, Eric Damurin, thank you. Gabe Lozano, Gia Benoit, Gina Asp, Jackie Coyle, that's my aunt. Jan Seeley, Grandma Jane, hey Grandma, G. Marie Massey, Jen Turk, Jennifer Davis, Jenny Armstrong, Jennifer Sanders, Jenny Barrow, hey, she's my babysitter. Jenny Dippold, Jessica All.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you.
Hi, Jessica. Thank you. Jessica Bork, Jocelyn Milo, Jill Hanson Williams, Johnny Walker, Judy Malkin, Julie Hadlock, Karen Ochella, Carol Schultz, Kathy Marie, Katie Getz, Katie Radcliffe, Katie Saucier, Kevin Ferry, Kimberly Shelley, Kira Vincent, welcome to the club. Lara Keeley, Lara C., Linda, Lindsay Konopka, Mary Ann Hammond, Mary Ann McDonald, Mary McGowan, Melissa Bowers, Missy Schubert Milsey, Naomi Brown, Rachel Tang, Rebecca Olemaker, Robin Flam, Stacy Sayward, Susie Demigan, Trenton Thompson, and finally Wendy. What would we do without you? And thank you all for supporting us. This is so helpful for you guys, and I'm not even in this. Well, yeah, I kind of am, but thank you guys for supporting my mom. I really appreciate it. And always, what do we do now?
This is my favorite thing to discuss with you.
Tell me, what is it?
One of my favorite things. I do enjoy tacos and cheese and dogs. This is about how you cannot pay hundreds and hundreds of dollars for a phone plan, especially when you're a widow, your person is dead, you might have kids, you might need another option, and you just want your phone to work, you want unlimited texting and service, and you want it to be like $25 a month.
It blows my mind that they have plans that start at $15 a month. That is so cheap. And the cool thing is it uses other 5G networks, and so you don't have to pay extra for that, and you still get great service.
Yep, Anita and I have traveled all over, and I have used my phone. So I highly recommend it. And my mom's even on it. When my dad died, we put his phone down to the cheapest plan, which is $15 a month. And I think my mom's on the $20 a month plan, and it's so worth it. It's so much cheaper than what we were all paying before. So I highly recommend it if you're on a budget or not. Who cares? Ryan Reynolds is in charge of the company, and they send you free stickers with Ryan Reynolds temporary tattoos. It's kind of the best. So if somebody wants to sign up, what can they do, Anita?
Go to trymintmobile.com/WWDN. Seriously, you guys, such a great idea. Save yourself some money.
And if you're worried about losing data or having any changes with your phone, not going to happen. They walk you through it. Everything's fine. It's the easiest process of all time. Again, that's
trymintmobile.com/WWDN.